What is up there, beautiful people, and welcome to another edition of Just Trending You. So today we're speaking everything that's related to the Zulu Parade. Surprisingly, that's happening in the United States of America, surprisingly in New Orleans. So reports suggest that this Zulu Parade has been happening for the past 100 years and takes place every single year at the Mardi Gras in New Orleans. While there's been a very heavy Twitter war between Americans and South Africans there on X, and I'm going to be reading from an article by IOL to give you more context on this Zulu Parade, okay? So it says, in a controversial showcase, a Zulu parade that takes place during the Mardi Gras in New Orleans in the United States has participants adorned in afro wigs, coconut-colored clothing, fabrics, and with alleged blackface reminiscent of olden-day minstrel shows, comic skits depicting people, specifically of African descent, in a negative light to confirm racist beliefs. South Africans were dismayed after they came across clips of the parade and accused the participants of being prejudiced and culturally insensitive. An ex-user responded asking, "These are Zulu people? Americans are so disrespectful. OMG, blackface on top of that." The clash escalated as Americans defended the parade. Blackface, but it's black people. Y'all South Africans are retarded as F, and quit talking on ish you don't know ish about, okay? However, those defending it pointed out that the parade is over a century old. Also, as I've also mentioned, satire is a key element of Mardi Gras, and nowhere is that on keener display than in the Zulu Social Aid and Pleasure Club, formed in 1909. Zulu's founders chose their costumes to mock the demeaning portrayals of black people in early 20th century culture and pretensions of all white parading organizations of the time, reported NOLA. Every year, the members wear black makeup, grass skits, and distribute coconuts, following in the footsteps of the founders. In a video shared by one of the participants, a woman shared how she gets ready to the dismay of South Africans. However, South Africans were not willing to concede on this basis, and now that 100 years have passed, what's so difficult with doing away with blackface knowing it's offensive? And ignorance cannot be an excuse, because you have all the information available to actually do things the right way if you care about cultural accuracy. Anything less is a joke, basically. Okay, well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just going to be reading from some tweets over here on X regarding this situation. Okay, I'm going to be reading from the top tweet. It says, "What I'm noticing in this Zulu Parade conversation is that some Black Americans don't understand that Zulu people are existing people who currently object to inaccurate portrayals of their culture. They think that Zulu people are a historical concept like mermaids." Another person says, "Who thought that Zulu Parade ish in New Orleans was a good idea? Are you effing stupid? I'm not even Zulu, and that ish pissed me off." It definitely also pissed me off as well. I'm closer, but like, come on, guys. Come on. Another person says, "Zulu tribal people mad because the Zulu parade doesn't reflect their real culture. I'm from New Orleans and I agree with them," okay? Another person says, "South African versus New Orleans is such a crazy diaspora war, especially since it started over a parade that has been around 100 years and was co-signed by actual Zulu warriors, but people love being outraged." Co-signed by actual Zulu warriors over 100 years ago? I find that extremely hard to believe. Another person says, "I didn't plan to be an angry Zulu girl today, but that parade pissed me off." Okay, so I'm just going to be reading from one more tweet. Someone says, "Playing the victim when y'all are being called out on your Afrophobia, ignorance, and cultural appropriation is crazy. This could have been a chance to review the Zulu Parade by listening to actual Zulu people, but no, you can't even do that because y'all are never wrong, apparently." And I completely agree with this person. Instead of trying to defend the Zulu Parade, how about you guys review the Zulu Parade and change some of the things that people aren't necessarily happy about, such as blackface and also those overly, I would say, clownish, in my opinion, ridiculous outfits that you guys are wearing. It's 100 years later. You've got access to the internet. You've got access to know and to see how Zulu people actually look like, what their costumes actually look like, or their traditional attire rather actually looks like. Why can't you just change what you do in the parade to reflect the actual culture of the Zulu people and to continue to celebrate them in that way? I feel like, for me, saying that this parade is 100 years old is no excuse for what's currently happening today. And obviously, I think that some Zulu people do appreciate the fact that Americans are celebrating them in this way, but I think that it could be done in a more culturally respectful way. The same way that Black Americans were able to change racial slurs and, change the spelling of racial slurs so that they did not include a hard R in that slur, is the same way that they can basically change this parade to reflect the true cultural identity and costumes or attire of traditional Zulu people. But anyways, I don't want to ramble too much about this. Tell me what you think about all of this in the comments section. Do you agree with the Americans? Do you think that this is a disrespectful display of Zulu culture? And what do you think can be done in the future to change what's currently happening at this parade and to better reflect Zulu people, basically? Tell me what you think in the comment section, my darlings, and I will see you in my next upload. Goodbye, lovelies.